Good afternoon, and welcome to the first episode of the Jess Strom Show. I'm your host, Katie Tetzlaw, and we're going to be talking about all things Cal U women's basketball so far from the 2017-2018 season. We're really fortunate to have this wonderful guest with us, senior forward Shatara Parsons. Shatara, always waiting for the camera, right?
Always camera ready.
Yeah, camera ready. Tell us so far, Shatara, coming back from last year, injured at the end of the year, and starting off the 2017 season fresh and ready to go. What are your thoughts so far, Shatara, on how the season's coming along and how you're feeling and how you're playing?
I think it's going really good. You know, we're a young team. We're a new team. There's not a lot of people that came back with experience besides me because Sierra's hurt. But I think overall we're doing good. There's always still room for improvement. So I can't ask for a better senior season.
Absolutely. So, and you touched base on, I was going to talk about it. You know, we talk about new players that have been playing. Mia, Gigi, are two of the, Jameer, three people that are, and Bianca, brand new to the program in general. And then you have returners, besides Abby, who had a lot of experience with the team. You're working with DJ and Gina, so people that had limited experience coming in. What are your thoughts on how you guys have grown as a unit together, starting with the new players that come to the program and then the returning players that are just gaining experience now?
Well, it wasn't really hard with Gina and DJ because we spent the whole summer together their freshman year, so we kind of know each other, how each other plays a lot. For the new girls, it wasn't that hard because they're like any other Cal U player that you guys bring in. They're quick. They're learning the system really well, especially our defense, and we're a big defense team, so I think that's fitting in well. Bianca, she has a big role that she has to play, especially after coming in after Mickey Glenn. But I think she's doing well. She's holding her own, and she's a freshman, so there's still room for a lot of improvement. But I think we're all doing good. We're functioning well. We're new. We're young, so I think we're all right.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the record, doing well, and I think we all have noticed we're playing very well at home. 10-0 at home. We've taken 3 road losses this year. How important is it to you as a senior to kind of protect the house, to kind of play well at home and just kind of have that feeling that, this is where Cal plays and protecting it?
Well, being here for 4 years, I only experienced 2 losses at home and 1 being my freshman year. So losing at home is just something like we just can't do.
Kind of unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. So, it's really big, and it's our home. We don't want anybody coming to our home and thinking like they run our show or that they can bully us. So it's definitely important.
Absolutely. And Shatara, I've been laughing about this. A big day for you coming up. I mean, you have been here. You're a senior, the
Yes.
lone senior, actually. Obviously not the way it was supposed to be with the injury to Sierra Barrett, but the lone senior. Now, I know that most people talk about Senior Day, but for some reason we have now dedicated this day called Shasha Day. Can you tell the viewers what Shasha Day is and what it means?
It's Shasha Day. It's all about me. It sucks that Sierra can't be here to experience it with me, but you got me, and that's all that matters right now.
Now, obviously, you're joking. We were saying it's Shasha Day because Shatara is the only senior for us. With a lot on your plate, and being a captain, being a senior, trying to lead the program. Has that been difficult for you since you haven't really had to be in that role, Shatara, since you've been here at Cal?
It has its times. I like it, though. It teaches me a lot about on the court and off the court situations. But overall, I like being a leader. I like being a captain. I like being able to have people look up to me because I had strong women and players that I looked up to since I was a freshman. So it's cool.
Who are some of those people that you looked up to during your time here at Cal?
Definitely Mickey and Precious, but like the 2 strong ones I really looked up to was Lana and Britt. They really kept me level-headed. If things weren't going right or if they knew I could do better, they always sat me down and they told me, and definitely got me better in a lot of aspects, mentally especially.
And, obviously we have for 4 years been talking about Cal and basketball in school and, you being a great student and you being a great athlete here. What do you think is next for Shatara
Yeah.
Parsons after you graduate? I know you're sad. You talk about limited games, coming up. What is it that you want to pursue after Cal U?
Well, the only goal right now is to go play. So that's really big for me. I really want to go play to the next level, and I think I can do it. I just have to keep putting the work in. But if not, I guess I have to apply for some grad school soon. But being a student athlete, I had a lot of job opportunities reach out to me, so I'm going to still do my research with stuff. If I don't do with sports, I really want to work with kids.
So playing first is the first option, and then
Yes.
obviously if you wanted to attend grad, if that doesn't work out, attend grad school or look into some jobs. And you always do your thing sport management wise and internships, so we know that you've been working hard on that end. Goals for the remainder of the season, Shatara. What are some things that you have in your mind that you would like to see the Vulcans accomplish?
Well, I want to go undefeated in the second half of the season. And the goal is always to win a ring, but short goes first. I want to win PSACs and then go all the way, because the team that we have now, they led us to where we were last year, going to the PSAC championship and regional championship. Even though we didn't win, they still know what it takes to get there, what we have to do. And with a lot more experience, I really do think that we can do it.
Absolutely. And, anything is possible with hard work. And, I think there has been a real shift in the change of pace at practice and the mentality of the players. So what are you looking most forward to coming and finishing, the season? Like, what are you looking forward to? Just getting better day by day, games you have coming up? Like, what are some things that you are looking forward to coming up in the season?
I'm looking for everything, honestly.
Game by game for you?
Game by game, practice by practice, just getting better physically and mentally, just getting better every day and not taking any steps back and just moving forward.
Now, for getting kind of off of basketball a little bit and, off of your future, tell us, for some of the viewers that don't really know you, I think they should know you because you've been here long enough. Tell, for example, what is your favorite thing about Cal U?
Basketball.
No doubt?
Basketball.
Not even a question?
And Chick-fil-A. I'm obsessed. But other than that, really basketball and, the people I got to meet because of basketball, like the President Jones and Nancy Pernardi and everybody else we work with. So
just supporters of the program, supporters of the university. What are some things that you like to do in your free time? Like if you have time off, which, comes few and far between with academics and sports, what do you like to do on days off?
sleep.
Watch TV?
And watch Netflix shows.
Well, I know you watch Netflix. Tell the viewers right now, I know you were watching Punisher and what was the new one that you were watching? Wanted.
I just finished it.
Just finished it.
Taken. It was Taken.
Taken. What is your favorite all-time Netflix series?
The one that caught my attention the most was The Following. It's a really good show.
I mean, you should be a spokesperson for Netflix because every time you turn around, that's what I see you on. Favorite kind of music?
I like throwback R&B.
Throwback R&B?
Yeah.
Sundays, what are you listening to?
Gospel.
Absolutely. Viewers, if you don't know this, Sunday mornings, if we have practice, if we're on the road, Shatara is putting on Pandora and listening to gospel music and getting it all squared away. Some great memories that you've had here, Shatara. What are your favorite ones?
My number one was winning the national championship. That was pretty cool. It was pretty awesome. I loved it, and the reason why we did it. So that was definitely my favorite memory. Then winning the PSAC the following year. And then last year, even though we didn't go all the way, it was a really great team to be a part of. I've never really been on a team so good with such high expectations, and everything for the season was good, only losing 2 games throughout the whole season, and then, of course, the 2 losses in the championship round. But I like every day.
Yeah.
I like all the memories. I met a lot of people, got to have a lot of memories with all those people, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah. It seems to me that, when we get to look at you, that you're enjoying a lot of the days. You know a ton of people on campus. You're always in the mix with people, talking to everybody. So definitely one of the social butterflies of the program. How do you think that basketball here, Shatara, has kind of prepared you, and Cal U and the people that you've met, prepared you for the next stages of your life, if you're going to go on to play, if you're going to go on to have a career? How do you think Cal has prepared you for that?
Well, I think you guys prepared me more, because you guys teach me a lot of life lessons, even though sometimes you guys don't think I'm listening. I listen to everything, and sometimes I just go back home and just reflect back, like, wow, they were really right, or like, wow, I understand what they mean, even though sometimes I'm not in you guys' position. I know you guys always mean well, so I think you guys taught me a lot. And then, like, being away from home, going through, like, a lot of deaths and stuff definitely taught me that I'm stronger than what I think I am, and that always have a purpose in what you do, and don't do anything for nothing, because there's no reason why you do it.
There you go. And that's about it for Sha. We appreciate you being on the show. You do amazing work, leading scorer in the PSAC, leading scorer for our team, and getting ready to head into the second half of the season. And we can't tell you how excited we are, to be a part of the squad and be a part of it with you.
Thank you.
Dylan, what's wrong, man?
I just don't know how my family back home in Buchanan, West Virginia can watch our stuff up here.
They can follow us on Twitter, or they can like us on Facebook.
That's awesome. What about our sports? How can they watch that?
They could watch it live right on our YouTube channel.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
You're welcome.
And welcome back to the second half of the Jess Strom Show. We're here with the main lady, Coach Jess Strom. And Jess, new year, a lot of changes for you. Have an addition to your family. Can you tell us a little bit about that addition?
Yep, had a little baby daughter on December 31st. So
Right before the new year.
on our day off, planned it well. So
You really, really planned it well. And may I tell the viewers that you only missed one game. Absolute machine. Came back and didn't miss a beat. Can you tell us, though, how different it is for you, obviously, from not having Jade to having Jade and being in the mix of a basketball season? What the typical day like is for you now, being a mom of an infant and the head coach of this Cal U women's basketball program?
yeah, I don't know if I really thought that one through. Basketball season is always exhausting to begin with. Like, this is the heart of our season. This is when you spend the most time preparing. You're looking towards the end of the season, and you're on a regular schedule Wednesday, Saturday. But my schedule is completely different now. I mean, I just think that the lack of sleep is the main difference right now in my life. Like, anytime I can watch film, it might be 4 a.m, that's when I watch film. It's just, you kind of are on I'm on her time now. So whenever she allows me to have time to watch film, that's when I watch film. But you still figure it out, you still get it done. Obviously, this team is really, really still important to me. So you kind of just have to figure out how to balance the two.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, from your first family now to your second family here at Cal, kind of a very different look of a team than we've had in the past. Some new additions, some players that haven't had experience. Can you tell us and the viewers, basically what you have learned from this group of women from the beginning of the season until right now, Tuesday, January 23rd?
Yeah, I think as coaches, sometimes you're stuck in your ways a little bit. I think we've learned to adjust some things. This group, you definitely have to deal with personalities and different personalities. Everyone on our team is very, very different, so you have to handle them a little bit differently. And I think, in the past we've had experience. For a couple years now, we've had experience. And so it kind of took us back a few years to when, those players were young and we're freshmen and we're new. So I think you just kind of reset yourself to, you have to teach everything. You have to repeat yourself a million times. And then just kind of adjusting to the players on this year's team. Every team is different. and just what they need and how they focus and what helps them improve daily.
And we talked about new additions, you being a point guard and your playing days at Penn State, to having a 4-year point guard in Mickey Glenn, to now having a brand new person in that spot, a true freshman point guard. Can you tell us a little bit about, your coaching techniques with her and how it has, been different to have someone new in that role?
Yeah, Mickey was here for 4 years, and then you forget. I think you just take some things for granted. But Bianca's been doing a great job. I think sometimes forget that she's 18 years old, and you expect a lot from her. You expect her to speak. You expect her to know everything. You expect her to be able to speak to older players in a way that is demanding, and sometimes it takes a while. But, she's been getting better every single day, and I think the biggest jump is from freshman to sophomore year in point guards because they're more confident. So I think, obviously, down the stretch, she's going to have to become a sophomore quickly. But even in the years to come, I think she's going to do a really good job for us.
Absolutely. And, we talked about having new people and experience. How do you think this team has progressed? I mean, obviously you talked about, how you've coached them differently, how it's different than the past, but tell us about where you think the team was at the beginning and then where you think we are now as a group.
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think it takes a while. I think we have learned how to work hard daily almost now. We're almost there. I think at the beginning we were very inconsistent. We'd have some good days, some bad days, and we still do, but we're getting more consistent with our work ethic. We're learning how to be a little bit tougher. It takes a while. Our practices are pretty intense sometimes. And we're getting there, but I think this is the best time to kind of come together as a team. We're 16-3 right now, and we're going towards the tail end of our season. We're about to start the second half of PSAC play. This is where we really need to come together.
Yeah, and you touched base upon the record, the overall record of 16-3, but it feels like January has been a roller coaster. Do you, and especially this past week, we talk about playing IUP on Wednesday and then going from the IUP game to the Mercyhurst game, kind of really, really up and down. Can you talk about how those two games are so very different from each other and about consistency of where we are as a group right now?
Yeah, and if you even go a game before that at Seton Hill, it was a loss at Seton Hill, then a high at IUP, which we played great, and then obviously going to Mercyhurst and losing. But I think you get that with teams that aren't very mature or have a lot of experience because we can get really high on good wins and then kind of take for granted some teams that we think we should beat. Obviously, I wish we would have learned the first time when we were at Seton Hill. But sometimes you have to take a loss, like the Mercyhurst loss, as bad as it felt, as bad as it still feels until we can play again tomorrow, to learn and to grow with kids that aren't experienced and don't have that mentality like going into every single game like it's an IUP, like it's in Edinburgh. Obviously, IUP's our rival, and it was at home, and I think defensively we stepped up and had a really good game. And those same players went to Mercyhurst and didn't show up, I think is the best way to put it. So we just have to learn from it, move on, and just don't let that ever happen again.
And right here, we're talking about, the highlights of the IUP game. Obviously, a big defensive effort from the Vulcans. I believe we held IUP to 26 points below their average. And you see this. Can you talk about the defensive intensity of this game and how you think we played that game on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, defense is always our focus. We really believe we're going to win games defensively, not offensively, and we want to get a ton of points off of our defense. So I think it's always a focus, but when you play a team that's number 2 in the country and is your rival, and it's for the PSAC West first place, I think you tend to focus a little bit better defensively. These are all offensive highlights.
I was going to say.
But, it all comes from our defensive intensity.
Yeah, and as you see in these highlights, we had Parsons with a big game with 17 points, 10 rebounds. Kushan with 17. Bianca Jasper with 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and DJ Hahn coming in big with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Obviously, you see her with the big 3 here in the third quarter. This game was really, really close both ways the entire way. And we talked about a big fourth quarter. I think one of the better defensive efforts that we've had from our program in the fourth quarter with just allowing IUP to score 9 points and then kind of let, our offense feel a little bit more comfortable after, getting those big stops. Wouldn't you say that most of our offense really progresses from what we do defensively?
Yeah, it definitely does. And, in the fourth quarter, we allowed 9 points, but that comes from a whole game of pressuring. Once you get to the fourth quarter and you've pressured them for 3 quarters, it's tough on a team to show up in that quarter. I think we talked about just, 10 minutes of the best defense we've ever played, and our team responded. They really came out, and it was everybody. You see these highlights, and it can't just be Shatara. It can't just be Mia. Like, other people have to contribute. So I think that was a great example of that.
Absolutely. So that was a huge win. Obviously, IUP was undefeated at that time. And then, we'll talk about Mercyhurst. We were held to the lowest shooting percentage in 5 seasons at Cal U that game, and obviously defensively struggled. Can you talk a little bit about that game and kind of your thoughts on the performance from the Vulcans?
Yeah, I'm assuming there's no highlights of.
There are no highlights. Not many highlights from that game.
Yeah, obviously our shooting percentage was absolutely terrible. But for us, that's why we preach defense. Like, if we're having an off game shooting, we're not very good shooters to begin with. So when we're not having a good shooting game and we're not already good shooters, it's pretty bad. So defensively is where we need to step up and get stops and get steals and turn them over. And I think we just weren't able to do that. We had no real energy defensively, and that's where we get our offensive energy from. So to me, the offensive stats didn't really matter that game. To me, the defensive energy and our approach defensively was where we went wrong.
Absolutely. And we talk about hats off to Mercyhurst. They played really, really tough. They played with a ton of energy at their place and really crashed the boards really hard against us. I believe the final was 20 offensive rebounds. How do you, after you have a performance like that, and you kind of don't do what we expect our team to do day in, day out, which is play defense, how do you bounce back and get your team prepared for another PSAC conference where every single game matters in this league?
Yeah, we try to say every team wants to beat us. When you're 1, 2, or 3, every team below us wants that chance to play us and to beat us, especially at home. I think you do some soul searching. We watched that game pretty intently. We watched it pretty closely.
Tough to see.
Yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes, but we watched it. We had 2 pretty tough days of practice, and hopefully we just come out tomorrow and realize that can't happen again. It's on us. Obviously, if we can beat the better teams in our conference, we can beat anybody. So we just have to bring that energy ourselves. It's what nothing anyone else does. It's us.
And now on to this week, finishing the PSAC first round, basically, we always kind of say, with Clarion on Wednesday. Tell us a little bit about, your thoughts on Clarion and how the Vulcans match up with them.
Yeah, Clarion's always a tough place to play. It's a tough trip. I don't know why it is, but, you can be lethargic when you get there for some reason. So, we have to just show up. I think for us this week was more about focusing on us rather than Clarion so much. I mean, obviously we watch film on them and we do their scout.
Yeah.
But for us, we wanted to get back to the basics of our defense the past 2 days. So, just come out with energy, refocus, and understand that these games are all really, really big.
And then talking about after Wednesday, starting that second round of teams, where the second half of the PSAC and starts, and how important it is to, kind of get that refocus and get ready to play day in, day out versus great PSAC teams. What are your goals for the second half of the PSAC conference? What are some things that you want to get better at for the Vulcans and different things like that?
I think our main goal right now is just to get better every day. I've learned with this team, we have to take it day by day. Whether it's a practice day, whether we're lifting, whether we're watching film, like, we have to be very good at what we're doing at the moment. But second time around is always tougher because people know what you're going to do. I mean, it's really not a secret of how we play. Every team knows what to expect from us. So we just have to be that much better at what we do. But, it's the typical goals that we have every single year. You want to win the PSAC. You want to host the PSAC tournament. You're always looking forward to the NCAA tournament, which is our main goal, is just to get in and give yourself a chance.
Absolutely. And so far about the record, obviously 16 and 3 overall, 11 and 2 in the conference, 10 and 0 at home, stayed number 14th in the polls. What do those numbers mean to you, if anything? Are they important to you? How do you feel about them? Like I said, what is the most important besides getting better every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be ranked in the top 25, obviously, but more importantly to us, I would say, is regional rankings. More importantly to us is where we stand in the PSAC. And right now, we hold our own destiny. We're in second right now, but obviously we play everyone again. So it's really up for grabs. It's just, I would say our goal is, again, just take it game by game with that in the back of our mind that, we want to host. It's in the West this year. The PSAC tournament's in the West. So we're obviously better at home. It's a big advantage for us to play at home. So I think that would be the goal in the back of our minds.
We had Shatara Parsons on just right before you. Obviously, we had the wonderful opportunity to coach her throughout her career. I can't believe she's already senior. Time is flying. Can you touch base a little bit about, obviously our lone senior would be with Sierra, but obviously she's, returning from a red shirt, going to be returning. Talk to us a little bit about how you saw Shatara Parsons' growth from the time she was a freshman and until now, and how important she is for our program.
It's crazy that she's already been here 4 years. That means we're getting pretty old too. But
what do you mean?
just the growth on and off the court of Shatara. Obviously, her on-court growth is huge. This year she stepped up. I don't know. I don't expect her, but I don't think she expected her to be leading the conference in scoring right now. But she puts in the time. She puts in the work. Going from her freshman year on the national championship team when she didn't really play much in games. She gave us a lot in practice, but sticking with it and, putting in the time in summer times and putting in the work with us to her senior year now, really stepping up, scoring-wise, defensive-wise, being a leader, knowing exactly what we expect and, kind of relaying that message to her teammates is really impressive.
Well, I think that's about all we have. We have a lot of upcoming games coming up with Clarion on Wednesday, Slippery Rock, which I believe is going to be on PCN Network. We would love the support of everybody out there to come to the games, and thank you for our continued support that you've given us. And again, the games right here, Clarion, Slippery Rock, at Edinboro, at Gannon. So basically 3 out of 4 on the road. And we thank you so much for watching the Jess Strom Show, and we hope you'll tune in next week.